those harms have been caused by big tech because you have failed your responsibility, as have others in this industry. I want to see real reform that will enable these abuses to be reformed, because your platforms have embraced, abused, and weaponized child predators, violent white supremacists, and human traffickers. And I've heard heart-wrenching stories from victims. You've set back civil rights protections for Muslim Americans who live in fear of armed militias, organized by private online groups. You have set back consumers from competition, making that kind of antitrust action very, very important. The American public deserves and demands real reform and accountability.
Thank you to the members of the Judiciary Committee for the opportunity to speak with the American people about Twitter and your concerns around censorship and suppression of a specific news article, and generally what we saw in the 2020 U.S. elections conversation. We were called here today because of an enforcement decision we made against the New York Post, based on a policy we created in 2018 to prevent Twitter from being used to spread hacked materials. This resulted in us blocking people from sharing a New York Post article, publicly or privately. We made a quick interpretation, using no other evidence, that the materials in the article were obtained through hacking. 3 weeks ago, we proposed 3 solutions to address the concerns raised, and they all focus on services that decide to moderate or remove content. They could be expansions to Section 230, new legislative frameworks, or a commitment to industry-wide self-regulation best practices, requiring 1, moderation process and practices to be published, 2, a straightforward process to appeal decisions, and 3, developers. Doing so ensures a level playing field that increases the probability of competing ideas to help solve problems going forward. We mustn't entrench the largest companies any further. Finally, before I close, I wanted to share some reflections on what we saw during the U.S. presidential election. We focused on addressing attempts to undermine civic integrity, providing informative or confusion about how to vote, or misrepresents affiliation or election outcomes. More than a year ago, the public asked us to offer additional context to help make potentially misleading information more apparent. We did exactly that, applying labels to overworld,
acknowledging that there are difficult trade-offs. I believe that some of these trade-offs and decisions would be better made through a democratic process, and I look forward to discussing that today. But first, I want to update you on our efforts during the election to accept the result. So in September, we updated our policies again to reflect these realities of voting in